Today on Eleanor's blog we're going to be making soil blocks and starting some seeds. For that we need some soil mix or starting mix. Buy it by the bag, small bag, 10 liters is about $7.99. The irony is that if you buy a bigger bag like this, 30 liters, it's $3.99 in the same store. So guess what we did? We got the big one. So we're just going to put a little bit more soil in here. And we're going to call that enough. The next thing we want to do is wet it down. Now what we want is some of this material is very dry. So what we want is to put a little bit of soap in the water. The reason we do this is called a wetting agent. So you don't need very much. A few drops. You can mix that up. Alright, so we got our wetting agent in the water. Stirred it up a little bit. The wetting agent just makes, it lowers the surface tension of the water is what it does. And instead of pouring the water on and the water just sinking to the bottom, it actually allows the water to adhere a little bit better to the whatever's dry. Okay? Otherwise you get dust coming up and it's a lot harder to mix in. So you might notice we're just using a paint mixer to mix this up, and a Tupperware or a Rubbermaid tub or whatever, just a plastic dish tub. And if you get a little bit too much water in, don't be terribly worried about that. That's okay. You want it nice and moist. You could stir this with anything. We're using this because it's we can throw it out if we want afterwards. It's cheap, available, wonderful. Like cheap and available. That's dripping on my foot, making my foot nice and wet. Perfect. Alright. Now I've got this all mixed, nice and wet. I'm going to throw some cinnamon in there. What we used to do, used to be a chemical called no damp. And that was to prevent damping off of the seedlings. It was a fungal disease that would cause the seedlings to die very young. And somebody told me that cinnamon works very well. You mix the cinnamon with the water and mix it in. So we're just mixing the cinnamon in with that. And that should be good enough. Please note, I don't know whether it actually works yet or not. So far we've used it on all our seedlings. We've got 3 or 4 flats. We haven't had any damping off yet. So things look good. We got it all mixed in. We take our soil blocker and we fill our soil blocker like so. And it just packs in. Sort of easy. Then you can kind of scrape it off on an angle like that. Helps fill in the empty ones and evens it off real nice. Then we can just do this. We press it down and lift up at the same time, and they should just come out of there like that. And we can do it again. Again. Scrape it off nice and easy. Put it in beside it. Press down. A little jiggle. And they come out. And fairly well formed little planting blocks. We've found that the more peat moss there is in it and the less sand, the better off we are. Wiggle it, come out. So if you ever like making mud pies when you were a kid, you'll love doing this. So go, another one, and notice how this just fits right in here very nicely. Oh, look at that, and it even stayed together enough. So they're actually a little fragile, but not too bad. So now we are just that little bit of time, couple of minutes, we've made 40.